Francis Scott Fitzgerald was an American author of novels and short stories, whose works are the paradigmatic writings of the Jazz Age. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest American writers of the 20th century. Fitzgerald is considered a member of the lost generation of the 1920s. He finished 4 novels: This Side of Paradise, The Beautiful and Damned, The Great Gatsby, his most famous, and Tender is the Night. Fitzgerald also wrote many short stories that treat themes of youth and promise, along with age and despair. Fitzgerald's work has been adapted into films many times. The Great Gatsby has been the basis for numerous films of the same name, spanning nearly 90 years: 1926, 1949, 1974, 2000, and 2013 adaptations. His life was like a fairy tale. He lived the success, the Roaring Twenties, the Charleston, the first sexual revolution, and finally the failure. After the success of the novel This Side of Paradise, he knows the euphoria of the celebrity and the money.
German spy?
No. He's the Kaiser's assassin.
I heard he killed a man once.
It's true.
Killed for fun, free of charge.
This is what people say about the mysterious Gatsby during his magnificent parties. Yes, but in reality, who is he? Why is so important? We are in New York, 1922, during the Roaring Twenties, which is a decade of great economic growth for the United States. Everyone's goal is to become rich, and this is the great American dream. Every citizen should have the chance to get what he wants. We are in the era of sparkling jets, stocks that have gone sky high, and the smuggling of alcohol. Nick Carraway, a young man from Minnesota, moves to New York in the summer of 1922 to learn about the bond business. He rents a house in the West Egg district of Long Island, a wealthy but unfashionable area populated by new rich, a group who have made their fortunes too recently to have established social connections, and who are prone to garish displays of wealth. Nick's next-door neighbor in West Egg is a mysterious man named J. Gatsby, who lives in a gigantic Gothic mansion and throws extravagant parties every Saturday night. Nick drives out to East Egg one evening for dinner with his cousin Daisy Buchanan and her husband Tom, a classmate of Nick's at Yale. Daisy and Tom introduce Nick to Jordan Baker, a beautiful, cynical young woman with whom Nick begins a romantic relationship. Nick also learns a bit about Daisy and Tom's marriage. Jordan tells him that Tom has a lover, Myrtle Wilson, who lives in the Valley of Ashes, a great industrial dumping ground between West Egg and New York City. As the summer progresses, Nick eventually garners an invitation to one of Gatsby's legendary parties. He encounters Jordan Baker at the party, and they meet Gatsby himself, a surprisingly young man who affects an English accent, has a remarkable smile, and calls everyone old sport. Gatsby tells Jordan that he knew Daisy in Louisville in 1917, and he's deeply in love with her. He spends many nights staring at the green light at the end of her dock, across the bay from his mansion. Gatsby now wants Nick to arrange a reunion between himself and Daisy, but he is afraid that Daisy will refuse to see him if she knows that he still loves her. Nick invites Daisy to have a tea at his house, so Gatsby and Daisy re-establish their connection. Their love rekindled. They begin an affair. After a short time, Tom grows increasingly suspicious of his wife's relationship with Gatsby. He is deeply outraged by the thought that his wife could be unfaithful to him. He forces the group to drive into New York City, where he confronts Gatsby in a suite at the Plaza Hotel. Tom asserts that he and Daisy have a history that Gatsby could never understand, and he announces to his wife that Gatsby is a criminal. His fortune comes from the smuggling of alcohol and other illegal activities. However, Tom sends Daisy back to his stag with Gatsby, attempting to prove that Gatsby cannot hurt him. When Nick, Jordan, and Tom drive through the Valley of Ashes, however, they discover that Gatsby's car has struck and killed Myrtle, Tom's lover. They rush back to Long Island, where Nick learns from Gatsby that Daisy was driving the car when it struck Myrtle. The next day, Tom tells Myrtle's husband, George, that Gatsby was the driver of the car. George, who has leaped to the conclusion that the driver of the car that killed Myrtle must have been her lover, finds Gatsby in the pool at his mansion and shoots him dead. Nick stages a small funeral for Gatsby, ends his relationship with Jordan, and moves back to the Midwest to escape the disgust he feels for the people surrounding Gatsby's life and for the emptiness and moral decay of life among the wealthy on the East Coast. The movie follows the book quite closely, especially thanks to its long duration compared to the shortness of the original novel. However, there are some differences. Gatsby and Daisy have been separated for 5 years in the book, 8 years in the movie. Many aspects about Gatsby's history are overlooked. Nick's everyday life and his relationship with Jordan are left aside. The movie gives more importance to Myrtle's character. Gatsby's dream of Daisy was corrupted by money and dishonesty. The American dream of happiness and individualism has disintegrated into the mere pursuit of wealth. Though Gatsby's power to transform his dreams into reality is what makes him great, Nick reflects that the era of dreaming, both Gatsby's dream and the American dream, is over.